Hey, what's good? It's your boy Twice.
And it's your girl Tay.
Welcome to another episode of Facts and Feelings. We're going to share this video and we'll be right back.
I wonder if it's facts or feelings. Back your feelings. I don't know if you know what's for real. Baby, just relax and chill. Let the tea spill. I bet the chemistry start to build. I wonder if it's facts or feelings. Back your feelings. I don't know if you know what's for real. Baby, just relax and chill. Let the tea spill. I bet the chemistry start to build. I wonder if it's facts that you feeling. I love the fact you chillin'. These hours fly by when you and I is chillin'. These hours fly by, feel like a couple minutes. Seen you on my timeline. Hold up, wait a minute, twice and take. Yeah, you know they always catching up. Keep us up to date, cause it's hard to keep up through the day.
And we're back. Look, this is the closeout. We're going to close out the Mental Health Awareness Month. We always start with a fact and a feeling, right? The fact is, we'll keep it simple because we've been talking about it all month. The fact that mental health is real. This is Mental Health Awareness Month, and how we feel about it. We've kind of been chopping it up and talking to y'all about it this month. We just feel like it needs more awareness, and people need to be educated, and that's why we've had a couple guest speakers on this month, and we also just squads in between those two speakers. Mental health minutes, I think it was, right, Tay?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we had Jamie Evans on just talking about crisis and things you need to do in a crisis. So you can skip back a few episodes to Jamie, and then we did the mental health minutes. And then after that, we came back with Dr. Tim Norris and we talked about life after the game. We talked about athletes and the things that they will with. Jump in real quick and take something, Tay, before we dive on in.
Yeah, so like you said, just recapping what we've been going over, we talked about abandonment, and how it kind of leads you to kind of isolating and getting into some things you shouldn't be, involved in, and it kind of gets your mind, wandering into different things that may or may not be true. And then we also talked a little bit about taking care of you. So that's one thing that we got to make sure that we focus on taking care of us. And when we're talking about taking care of us, looking at taking care of us holistically, not just our physical health, but also our mental health. So that's why this month was so special to us. And we thought it was vital to really, really hone in on Mental Health Awareness Month and bring you some different areas of mental health to really kind of think about and kind of chew on.
Right. And we've even discussed how mental health is one of those things that just get put on the back burner. And a lot of times we don't really know what it is when we see it. We just say that person is acting crazy, or look at that dude. We pull out our phone and record, when in actuality, a lot of times we need to be pulling out our phone and calling those crisis number. And I know one, Tay knows a little bit more about it, but I know one is 988. What is that, babe?
Yeah, so the 988 is the suicide hotline. If you feel like you're in crisis, you're at a point of break, you can call or text. The number's 988, and that number will get you to professionals that will be able to link you, because that's a national number. They'll be able to link you to the help that you need in your area.
Right. So if you see somebody look like they're having a mental breakdown, we know sometime, especially in the area that we live in, if we're in the metropolitan Jackson area, sometimes we'll see people talking to themselves and things of that nature. They're not really hurting themselves uh, or anybody. But if you see something super dangerous, where somebody is trying to harm somebody, let's advocate and let's dial that number and try to get some help out on the scene so that somebody won't get hurt.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah,
yeah,
because
go
we're
ahead.
so quick to kind of pull out our phones so many times, and we see things that are kind of out of the norm. But sometimes we need to pull out our phone to try to help people get the help that they need, opposed to just recording and posting stuff for views and likes, and making fun of people, especially when they're in a in a state of a mental crisis or a mental break.
Right, right. And like she said, she already went over some of the things that we talked about on the mental health minutes. But then last week we had Dr. Norris come in, man, and it was really, really a good segment where we talked about life after the game and how these athletes, some athletes have played sports their whole entire life and they don't have that plan B or Plan C. And I was talking about how I seen, I think it was Brandon Bill doing an interview. And he was talking to some college kids or maybe even some high school kids. And he was saying, if you think about it, how many high schools it may be in your city, if you're in a bigger city, how many high schools it might be within the state. And then you think about it's multiple states, and then you have players coming from overseas. And at the end of the day, it's only 400 jobs in the NBA as far as getting on that court and touching that ball and shooting that rock. So the chances of making it is really slim to none. So, what does it look like if I don't make it? And if
Mm.
somebody don't make it to the league, we know there's other leagues. But when you've been doing something all your life and it's just taken away from you and you feel like you can't do it anymore, especially on the level that you want to do it on, then it's kind of step in and you might have to step in and just kind of help that person see that there might be some sad feelings or some depression or something of that nature going on. Hey man, let's just show love and spread love because people out here, we're going through things, other people are going through things, and we gotta just be a light when we can be.
That's right. Yeah, most definitely. And if you're, one of those people that are actually needing that mental health, just go ahead and reach out. Don't think that it makes you any smaller than anybody else. It makes you insignificant. That's like taking care of yourself.
Right.
In our mind, we're always in a war with our minds, whether it's our mental health, whether it's just life in general, and dealing with things. The first place that we begin to process everything is in our mind. So we
Right.
have to make sure that we're taking care of our mind. So when we're battling this thing called life, we don't have to worry about becoming so overwhelmed and trying to deal with things on our own so much to where it overpowers our mind and it causes us to reach that brink of breaking.
Right.
And we got to make sure we're taking care of our mental health as a whole.
Right. And for those of you that may be watching on Facebook, or if you're watching on Instagram, or if you're watching on YouTube, link up with our Facebook page. And the reason why I say, because we did have Dr. Norris on last week, right? But we
Mhm.
have so many people that we know, that we're friends with, that we're family with, who have counseling agencies, because me and Tay do have a mental health background.
Yeah.
And as far as Dr. Tim Norris, he was on his dmncounseling.com. We have our sister Lativia Cavett, who has, it's a new you, right? A new you counseling.
Green consultant. Yeah.
And then we also have Anthony D. I always call him Anthony D. Anthony Davis, right?
Yeah.
He has an account. So we'll just put some of that information on our Facebook page, so that if you need somebody and you may not want to jump in and ask a question, or you might just want to have that contact information with somebody that's local that me and Tay might vouch for. Sometimes people, if they follow you and they trust you, then they might trust your suggestions, right, Tay?
Right.
So we will throw them out there because those are all people that we know well who have been blessed to start their own agencies. And hey, if we consider them friends, then we trust them with you.
Right. That's
Right.
right. And we trust them with us. So we trust
Right. Exactly.
out to them, then hey, we definitely would recommend and refer you to good hands. And if for whatever reason you can't reach them on the website or you can't find the website, inbox the page
Right.
and make sure we link you up to those counselors and therapists, because some of them they are registered and they're certified and licensed in different states, not just the state of
Hmm.
Mississippi.
Right. And even with you being a working individual, each one of those that I name, I know have sessions after the 5 o'clock hour.
Yeah.
A couple of people that we even wanted to get in this month to join was having sessions at the time that this goes live. So definitely, sometimes we have to remove those barriers that's really not barriers. We'll say we can't seek help because of this. Well, I work from 8 to 5. I got to get home and cook, got to take care of the kids. Right. All those things are important.
Yeah.
But if you're not functioning well, then are you really going to be able to care for the people that you're saying you got to care for? So this might be a night that you might want to order Little Caesar's pizza and have it sent to the house. or we're even living in a time, right, Tay, where you might want to start out doing your first session via Zoom online. Hey man, if you can do telehealth to see your doctor
Yeah.
for your physical health, you can do it to get started with your mental health. Just creating a new you or a better you, or getting back to who you used to be before something traumatic happened or life just hit you hard.
hmm And even if you know you're looking for something for your children, and you're looking for something that's even more intensive, um, I'm sure that they can make even more referrals and recommendations for you. But there are so many local areas, and also like agencies that you can reach out to, like with Jamie,
Mhm.
who's on talking about crisis. You can reach out to Hines Baby Health Services. That's a local area that's in the Hines County area for Jackson, Mississippi. You have Region 8 mental health that's in like the Rankin County, Madison County
Right.
areas, in Copiah County. And then also we have youth villages. They are located in various states. I think it's over 20 something states across the country. So there's other agencies. If some of the counselors that we're talking about aren't able to offer you services that you need because they're not in your area, you can reach out to those agencies and they will definitely, be able to get you on track and get you the help that you need.
Right. One thing I can say I've learned is each area has like a region something. I think you named most of them, but like look in your area for the region one, region two, region three, four on up, mental health, and just to even add one, if you're in the Vicksburg area, I know there's what is it, Yazoo Warren or Warren Yazoo,
Warren, yeah,
Yazoo
yeah.
Warren Yazoo. So
Mhm.
they have people to cover the Yazoo City and the Warren County, Yazoo County and Warren County areas. And
Wow.
like we say, man, we know we've kind of packed mental health in pretty heavy this month, but it's that important. And we're looking forward to starting a new month, June,
Yeah.
and just having some new topics for you. We're really excited to see what June will bring. And we just thank each and every one of y'all for tuning in. Do you have anything else you want to leave them with this week, Tay?
Yeah, I had wrote down a few things that I just wanted to make sure that we said as we look at Mental Health Awareness Month. We know that tomorrow is the last day of May, and May is set aside to appreciate and bring awareness to mental health. But it doesn't stop in May. That's just the month set aside to bring more awareness and really acknowledge that mental health matters. But we celebrate all efforts to bring awareness to mental health this month. We appreciate each and every mental health professional who offers mental health services and advocates on behalf of mental health, um, especially those that, like Jamie and Dr. Norris, that took the time out to come in and just, donate their time and just really talk about mental health issues. We congratulate those who have taken steps to receive and acknowledge the need to receive services. And we encourage those of you who are struggling with the decision to reach out and get the assistance that's needed. We encourage you to reach out. Reach out to your local mental health professionals. Reach out to some of those mental health professionals that we have mentioned, even those mental health, those agencies that offer mental health services. They also offer behavioral health services. So reach out, utilize that 988 number if you're in crisis mode, if you're contemplating suicide, thinking about suicide. Use that 988 number and text the number, call the number, whatever you have to do. Just get the help that you need. Don't feel embarrassed by it. Don't let cultural trends
Mhm.
prevent you from reaching out and getting the mental health services that you need. You don't have to live and suffer without getting the help that you need.
Right. And I'll share the quick story again. I know I've shared it in the past on one of the other podcasts, but there are people out there, and you may have heard this if you're in mental health, but there are people out there who are very elite individuals or are assistants to very elite individuals. When I worked in mental health, I had the honor of servicing one who had traveled the country with somebody extremely famous. And there was a numerous people that we have seen over TV throughout our lives. If we're, you know, a little bit over 30 or something like that, we have seen them and just know people with notoriety. And because he ran in such huge circles, when he started to feel like he had an issue, everybody just told him, man, ain't nothing wrong with you. You good. And there's still people here today that will kind of talk you out of seeking the help that you need. Look, if you think it's something going on, seek help. Let a medical professional, after doing an analysis or an assessment, tell you they think you're good. You don't know you're good until, like, look, if there's something going on in your body, you're gonna let the doctor tell you good. You ain't gonna let your homeboy tell you good. You ain't gonna let your homegirl tell you good. You're gonna go get that help. So do that now. And with this particular individual, I watched him decline tremendously, like tremendously, to where it was heartbreaking. And then he went on and he died. Most of it was just paranoia, thinking everybody was after to get him, to where he didn't want to come out of the house. And now he's not taking care of his hygiene. It was bad. Don't be that person. Take
Yeah,
care of you.
yeah, because you don't have to be.
You
That's
don't have to be.
don't have to be. And another thing about seeking and receiving mental health services is it's confidential. So you don't
Right.
have to tell anybody anything about your health. That's whether you're dealing with heart problems, if you're dealing with high blood pressure, whatever the situation is, you don't have to tell anybody. So it's confidential. Get the services and the help that you need. Do not suffer, and you don't have to
You
suffer.
don't have to.
Help out there, seek the help, receive the help, and live a happier life. Being able to function in the manner that you need to function in. We all deal with a mental health challenge at some point in our lives.
Mhm.
People don't realize it, but anything that affects our functioning in life, our well being in life, it deals with our mental health, whether it's our anxiety, whether it's having panic attacks. If we're dealing with the loss of a loved one, we become depressed because we're saddened. That is part of your mental health. Sometimes people have these stigmas and they think mental health just means that you're hearing voices or you're talking to yourself. That is not the only thing that's affected by your mental health. Mental health is anything that gets in your mind and you're unable to cope. So, just reach out and get that help, that you may need because it's so vital.
Say, I'm gonna let you answer Miss Roberts' question since it's coming from a female perspective.
Whew, that's a whoo. Great question. So yeah, that's a good question. And it says, how can Black women assist Black men with debunking the mental health stereotypes? So, Ms. Roberts, I am actually doing research on that. So that's very near and dear to my heart. So one of the things is we have to be very, very careful with our approach and how we actually address those things. We can't go and say, you got a mental health problem and you need to seek services. You letting your family tell you that it's something wrong with getting mental health and you just need to pray and you'll be all right. So we can't go at it with that angle. We have to really use compassion because for men sometimes it kind of it's like a pride thing, and it's sometimes it comes with that masculinity where I'm a man, I'm supposed to be strong and I'm supposed to deal with this. And I feel like I'm gonna be looked at as being weak if I'm reaching out to somebody for help. So I would just go with just a soft, compassionate tone and just say, hey, you got to always say, start with a positive, hit that challenge area, because I don't like saying negative, but hit that challenge area and end in a positive and say, hey, you're doing such a great job, with whatever the situation is, because, your situation may be different. It could be a friend, could be a child, could be a mate. But if I was dealing with my husband, I would just tell him, you're doing such a great job working and providing for us. And I know sometimes you're facing challenges that can sometimes cause your moods to switch. And I'm
Mhm.
not attacking you at all, but I'm really concerned. And I want to let you know it's okay for you to go and talk to somebody about this. I'm not throwing no, names out there to say that you're crazy. And I'm not sure why people even use that, but just let them know. I think you need to, have some self-care. You need to take care of yourself. Don't put so much into taking care of us that you neglect yourself, because you're important to me and I want you to be okay. So when you kind of let them know that it's you just concerned, but not concerned in a negative way, but concerned because you want them to be all right and you want them to be around. Sometimes they can kind of take that a little bit differently. And when you come with the resources in hand, like we had Dr. Norris on, if you can say, hey, I saw this guy and he actually offers therapeutic services, and it's on a one-to-one basis. It's like in a private setting where you don't have to worry about nobody knowing that you're going. Do you mind if I give you the number and you kind of reach out, something like that? And then just kind of end and say, look, you're doing really good. I think you're doing a great job handling everything that you're dealing with. I just want to make sure that you're taking care of yourself in the process. Sometimes that kind of helps to soften things, because we have been conditioned over time, to where, there's a big thing there where people will say, as a man, you shouldn't be getting depressed. As a man, you shouldn't be around here moping and sad and everything. You're supposed to be the backbone for your family. But can I tell y'all that men are human too? You know
Mhm.
what I'm
Agree.
saying? Men are just as human as a woman or a child. They're still a human being with human feelings, and they're dealing with the same stressors that everybody else deals with. So, yeah, that would be my approach.
Right. And if I could give a response to that, I would definitely agree. It's all in the approach. And just to be transparent and be real, there's been times when Tay may have wanted to hold these conversations with me. And on top of just being gentle or making sure that she's loving, I think sometimes kind of setting the tone or setting the mood of like, hey, I really need to talk to you about something. Like, what's your evening look like? Is it a time where you can carve out at least about 30 to 45 minutes where we can talk? Then that man or that woman, whoever you're talking to, kind of, it kind of sets the tone, and they might not know what you want to discuss, but they know that it's going to be a serious discussion. And then when you go into that, like Tate mentioned, just kind of, it's kind of like, you don't want to just dive in and go, like she said, saying you're crazy. But if you show that genuine concern, be like, man, you're doing a good job, we're doing a good job. I just want you to be around forever. You know what I'm saying? I don't want you to limit your days because of stress, because the reality is stress affects our mental and our physical health. And so when a person comes to you, whether you're a female coming to a male coming to a male, and Dr. Kevin Thompson is on, gonna have to get you on soon too, man. Uh, I think when a person comes at you and you can tell they're being sincere and that they love you and they're really concerned about your well-being, it kind of softens the blow. And I will say this: it may not be the first time y'all talk; they might not get it. And here's
Mhm.
the one thing I did want to add: not that we're keeping records of wrong or we're keeping records of what you're doing wrong, but I think one time if you can show them a particular situation that happened, how they responded, and what concerns you about that, it kind of helps them step outside of themselves and look back at that situation and was like, yeah, man, I kind of could see how that might have looked, and I could see why you concerned. So sometimes when you can give them situations, scenarios, and they're able to sit there and stop and think about it from the outside looking in, a lot of time they can grab hold on to what you're trying to tell them a little better.
Yeah, yeah, I think so as well. And then you got to make sure you're looking at the timing of it all.
Yeah,
You can't bring
time
this
is vital.
in the middle of no argument. So you try
Right,
to, you know,
right.
I got an issue. You know what I'm saying? So it's got to be, like you said, the right setting. So timing is everything.
Mm,
That's definitely not a conversation you want to have after a disagreement, argument, or whether they had some type of incident where they messed up, didn't make a good decision. You want to make sure that it's a time where everybody is calm, there's not a lot going on.
yeah,
Want to make sure that it's not in a setting where they can be embarrassed with other people having an audience,
right.
So, when you can show that you're definitely concerned and you're considerate in even the way that you're communicating that, it makes it's gonna feel weird regardless,
Yeah. Right.
because somebody's coming to you and they're telling you that there are some areas that you need to kind of check about yourself. So that's why we have to make sure that we have a compassionate tone. We're making sure that the setting is right, the timing is right, and it's not right after an incident.
Mhm.
But just sitting down, like we ain't trying to keep no record of wrong, like he said. But these are my concerns, and here's my why behind it. I'm concerned. Why? Because I love you, and I want to see you be as the healthy as you can be, and I need you to be around so that we can live together as long as possible and as happy as possible, and being able to function well with each other in that process, and even offering to even go with them, if they feel more comfortable with it. I think that's a good thing as well. And you can even open the door for more conversation and say, hey, is it anything you feel that I may need to be working on? Because hey, we may need to do this thing together, because it might be areas that I might need to be talking to a therapist about. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And I think I want to sum all that up that I've said with this right here. And like me tell you, me and Tay both make sure we're not getting too preachy with this podcast. But like she said once before, what's in you will come out. And
Yeah.
the passage just came to my mind that a brother offended, or one that's offended, is harder to budge than castle bar doors. So if you think about somebody that's in a castle or somebody that's in prison, those bars, I don't care how much force or energy you put in them, they not finna budge. And it's just the reality that when one is offended, they're gonna be hard to budge. And like Tay said, it's a tough situation anyway. So, I don't know why, but I was having this thought. This would be like something Tay might do. She might hit me with a, hey, baby, want to ride? If she know I'm already in a decent mood, she might have tried to put me in even in a better mood. Like, hey, baby, you want to ride and get some ice cream? Now you laughing and talking, and you like you're in a great place or in a decent place to receive this concern that I have for you.
Mhm.
Stephanie has another question I'm gonna put up here.
Okay. So, would it be appropriate to address concerns regarding mental health one on one or family approach? So, I would say that depends. How do you feel that person will be receptive to a family approach? Because you know, um, sometimes family will sit you down to have what you call like a intervention.
Intervention, yeah.
And sometimes the person can sometimes feel attacked, so it kind of depends on the family. And if this is something where there's a close knit family and y'all have those moments where family actually get together and they discuss concerns, and it's usually receptive, then I don't think there's anything wrong with that. However, if this is the first time that this is being addressed with that person, it might be a good thing to do a one on one type of conversation first, so that they don't feel attacked. And
Right.
then, if they're not receptive to that, it may be another moment where there may need to be a different family member that might need to talk to them one on one. Or it might need to be two family members, that they're the closest to, that they would be a little bit more open and receptive to hearing something like that from. So,
Yeah, and I agree that I think it's situational. Because if I could put myself on the spot, I'm one that Tay might bring something to me initially, to just me, but I am one that I think when it's something that's going on in the home, I think it do comes a point, especially I guess I'm saying it because our children are a little older now. They're not little kids; they're actually young adults. So I think it's a certain point that certain things the family need to know what's going on. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So I don't want them to think daddy just tripping or daddy being mean. They ain't got to know exactly what's going on with daddy, but need to know that daddy got something going on. So if I appear to be a little snappy or something like that, just show me a little grace. Like it's definitely not right for me to be snappy with you, but there may be an outlying reason. So, and I think it's situational, because then I said that to say you have certain men or certain people who are just kind of in the traditions that I know I was raised around. Just seeing certain men like, yeah, man, they don't need them children don't need to know what's going on with me. That man business. Me and God gonna work it out. But the reality of it is, you and God might gonna work it out. But in the meantime, there could be somebody else that's being troubled or scarred or hurt by what's going on, even if you're not snapping at them. If mom or dad is not looking like their normal selves, if they normally laughing and talking and in the living room, and now they're always in the room and they always in the bed, man, I mean, that type of stuff is just noticeable. When your behavior change, it's very noticeable. Even if you're looking at a 2 or 3 year old kid, they know something is off. So it comes a point to where you might, yeah, initially hold that conversation, but at that point, we're gonna have to have a family talk. And I think that family intervention is good in the right time.
Right, yeah. And I think, we recently spoke at an event about family matters, and we was talking about spiritual warfare. And I think that it's so important to make sure that we're approaching things and we're addressing things in the families, with the family, with family matters, and mainly because families matter, you know.
Right,
So we need to be able to discuss family matters because family matters, you know.
right,
But we just kind of got to look at what's going on and what the situation is that's needing to be addressed. And there may be a certain person in the family that's maybe better suitable to talking to that person because they might be able to reach them a little bit better.
yeah,
Because sometimes even like being in a relationship, you feel like, if I'm coming to you and I'm your spouse, or I'm your significant other, or I'm your parent, you should receive it from me. But sometimes it doesn't work like that.
right,
It might be, that grandparent that might be the easier person to speak to that person, or it might be that aunt or that uncle or that good cousin or something that's able um to really kind of talk to them and address the situation. And then another thing that I like to do, and I know he remembers, but one thing that I like to do when it's something that's hard to say, in the past, just with me, is just kind of like my staple. When it's something that's really tough that I really need to talk about, and it's kind of hard for me to say it, I write. I
mhm,
write I write a letter because I feel like in that letter I can really express myself. I'm still careful. You still don't want to just be snapping out. So I'm still careful and I'm still compassionate, but I'm able to express myself in a way that I don't have to worry about, man, I said this, but I meant to say that. You know,
right.
one thing about a letter, you can scratch it out, you can rewrite it, you know
Erase,
what I'm saying?
right.
Erase it.
In the heat of the moment, you can't hit erase. It's there.
Yeah, and if it gets to a point where the other person, you're afraid that they're not going to let you say everything that you need to say and get it all out at that one time, you can actually like address it. I'm sorry, y'all, but you can actually address it. You can address it in a way to where you can get everything you need to say out at one time. Yeah,
Right.
being interrupted. Yeah, like I was with my dogs in the background.
And I'll say this, I know some of the things that I said, I was kind of saying from a spouse point of view. But as I got to looking at Stephanie's question, and you kind of even elaborated too, Tay, because you mentioned parent, but sometimes this could be siblings. What I did want to say is, yeah, like if it's a family like under the same roof, husband, wife, children, if one of the kids notice, if one of the kids then brought one of this to the parents, then yeah, I think that other parent might need to take it to the other parent, make it known. But at some point in time, you're gonna have to incorporate family because the family has already noticed, right? So then I kind of hit me that, this doesn't have to be a couple. This could be siblings. You know what I'm saying? Like a sister could be trying to talk to a brother. And I'm actually just thought about a coworker a while back. I don't know if you remember, Tay, but a particular coworker hit me up and had some questions about how to deal with some things with their brother.
Mm.
And so that's already family at that point in time. With siblings, if one think other one is being unfair, then you might have to just put it to them like, hey, how about you ask one of our other siblings? About how about you ask mom? Or how about you ask dad? Not that nobody has told me. Like I ain't saying we've been discussing you now, bro. So don't you know what I'm saying? But maybe I'm wrong.
Mhm.
You pick which family member that you know have had interactions with you and see if they think that you've been cranky,
Mm.
moody, or if they think you've been down or depressed or you're not laughing as much. Just to be honest with you, a couple of years back, I was dealing with some things and I was feeling a little down about some things. And my mom told me that my grandfather uh, picked up some of my Facebook posts.
Mm.
Like, and this is somebody I've never spent a lot of time around. Like, we've never lived in the same city. That's neither here nor there. But just based off who he knew me to be, he sensed something was off. So the family was already involved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and I do think, it's important for us to not allow a person to get too far off uh,
Yeah.
before we actually, begin to address certain things. And even for ourselves, when we know we're feeling a little off, from ourselves and our normal being, it's vital that we reach out to somebody that we feel we can trust, that's a safe space, and just let them know, hey, listen, I don't know what's going on with me, but I've been kind of snapping, or I've been feeling real down, because what we don't want to happen is um, someone actually be alone and they're suffering in silence, and it turns into something that could have been preventable.
Right.
Yeah. So
I,
it's definitely it's one of those things that's so important. And I think, when we see so many things going on, and we start reading about, people committing suicide, and we're like, what? Not him or not her. They always had such a good personality, and they, was a people person, and they was the life of the party. And it's because people suffer in silence, and we
inside.
got to get out of that. We got to get out of that. And if people don't understand that we're having to seek, assistance to strengthen our mental health, then we may need to kind of, put some space between us and
Right.
them, because they don't have our best interests in mind. Yeah.
Yeah. I just got to be real. Like, after I've started getting help and I'm getting better, like, please don't tell me after the fact you noticed something. Like,
Yeah.
don't tell me after the fact, because like I may not have gotten as deep as if you love me, like I might not have gotten as far gone as I did if you had to just share. But then again, and I know because of the stigmas, certain things are just hard to say. But
Yeah.
like, love covers a multitude of sin. Huh?
And sometimes it's hard to receive.
Yeah, hard. It's hard. It's hard to say. It's hard to receive. It's tough anyway. But love me enough to trust that I won't stop loving you if you show me some concern.
That's right. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
So thanks, Mama. Yeah, we want to make sure that we get out whatever info we have. We wanted to make sure that we're always giving it out to the people, and and don't think we're just cooking it up and shipping it out. We're eating on it and chewing on it too.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
but it's vital for all of our lives. We don't
Yeah.
all have it together. We're constantly at work and in progress. So
And
we
if I could be honest and transparent, just piggybacking on what Tay said, we probably talk more about the subject of the topic of the podcast after the podcast than
mm,
we do before. We live busy lives, and like today Tay has been out of town. She just came in, she was in Hattiesburg today. She came in pretty much set straight up for the podcast. So we ain't had time to talk about it. But what we do after every podcast is we not debrief. What's the word I'm looking for? We download,
uh-huh,
our day. We normally start with the podcast because we fresh off of it. How you
yeah.
think it went? We think about questions. And so when you do ask questions like this, it's truly appreciated, not just necessarily to engage with our podcast, but there could potentially be a viewer who wanted to ask that question and didn't, may have had some little fear or was a little afraid. So
Yeah.
definitely appreciate those questions.
Oh, yeah,
Anything
definitely. Because I was about to say, because it's being streamed on multiple, streaming
right?
sites. So even though they may not see your question, they hear it, and we're putting it on the screen so they're able to see it, and we're addressing it. So you never know who your question, how it may be affecting somebody else's life, and how it might be a help to them just because we're addressing it. So,
Right.
if, like we always say, if there's a topic that you're interested in and you're really wanting us to kind of hone in on and discuss, please inbox us, send us something, let us know, because we love being able to bring other speakers on, so we can get some more knowledge and some
Right.
expertise from other professionals, just to be able to get some information out to the community that's going to be a help and beneficial.
All right. And I agree. Just like I say, we're not expertise, and we're definitely students. We don't never ever want to stop learning. So you might share something that will benefit us. And Ms. Roberts said the best part about this conversation is seeing individuals that look like me discussing such an important topic. Salute to you.
Yes, and that's so important because
Appreciate
that's one of the reasons that a lot of people of color don't seek mental health services, because a lot of times they don't see people that look like them, so they feel like, those professionals aren't going to be able to relate to them because of, for cultural purposes. So thank you. We definitely appreciate that. At
And
the end, we're always in a war with our mind and battling with our mind. And that mental health is just so important.
right. And even with that being said, before we do get out here, everybody, we did have Dr. Norris on here last week and just wanted to share his book again. It's almost a perfect time to share it. This is available on Amazon, Silent Struggles by Dr. Timothy A. Norris. He is out of Jackson, Mississippi. For any of those who's familiar with Collins Soul Food over off, what is that, Tay? Terry Road. His mom owned that. He's running it now, and he is a therapist. But Silent Struggles, Unveiling Mental Health in Black Community, and that is on Amazon. So y'all check it out. Anything else before we get out of here today, Tay?
No, that's all. I just, salute you guys. Thank y'all so much for tuning in, especially for the month of May, as we were bringing awareness to mental health that's near and dear to our hearts. And go and get your mental health checks. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, because I'm going to get mine.
For shizzle. Right.
Yeah,
And this has been episode, I think, 15 with your boy Twice.
and it's your girl Tay.
We thank y'all
I
for
wonder if it's facts or feelings that you're feeling. I don't know if you know what's for real. Baby, just relax and chill. Let the tea spill. I bet the chemistry start to build.